outlaying our destiny. It's very fascinating when we start talking about destiny, because essentially destiny is the journey to the divine. Now, why would destiny be the journey to the divine? Because destiny isn't necessarily a short-term experience. We could say, what's our destiny? Because we must look at destiny and fate as something very, 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 very different. You could say fate is essentially the act of creating a certain spiral of frequency. If you know that you're within a band of experience, or a band of frequency, or a band of reality, or even a band of truth, because a band essentially is a circuit, or it's essentially a band of frequency. It's like it's containing. So within that, you can actually calculate a certain prediction or a certain formula, as long as you are contained within that certain band of reality. And that's what we can refer to as fate. Is because if you know that your life will experience a certain amount of in interactions, it will experience a certain amount of experiences, it will experience a certain amount of essentially just experiences, and yeah, that's about it. Then you can understand those experiences, as long as it's calculated and nothing rebels against that prediction, which is essentially the mind. The mind is very much on its way forward to essentially just dictate. And as long as we follow the dictatorship of the mind, of our thoughts, and what we should do, and when we should do it, and why we should do it, and as long as we listen and don't question, we will essentially be predicted within a band of interactions and a band of experiences, which will essentially equate to a certain amount of reactions and a certain amount of actions that we take. And this is what we can refer to as fate, because as long as we don't overcome the dictatorship of the mind, as long as we just follow suit and listen to the mind, and just be numb to our true potential, which ultimately the mind convinces us is fear. We fear overcoming we essentially fear, and that's what the mind does. It creates fear for us to stay within this certain prediction zone, which we can refer to as fate. As long as we stay fearful, or we worry about going after something that means more to us, or something that we feel that can bring a greater change for us, or we feel something that as long as we stay within that prediction, we will be predicted, and we can refer this to as fate. We can be destined for a certain reality. Now, what's very fascinating is when we rebel against this prediction or dictatorship of the mind, and we do so by chasing our dreams, by doing something, by feeling that an instinctual, like the birds, they naturally want to migrate south. They instinctively want to do something. So once we break out of this perceptional vortex prison, which we can call the mind's kind of dictatorship, we can start to actually instinctively become ourselves. We can actually stop being predicted, and we can actually become an infinite version of our true nature, which is infinite experience manifesting within infinite possibility. It's ultimately the divine trinity of matter, potential, and existence. It's just a magical realm of infinite possibility. And the truth is we exist within love, which is maybe some aspect of this existence. And if we can connect back to our hearts, we can learn to connect to love, which will ultimately stop creating us predictions, and we can start manifesting to infinite possibilities and infinite potential. which we can break free to our true nature.